Keith Murphy, so he was unable to make it to do this, so I'm kind of the poor man's Keith Murphy. Sorry about that. Thank you very much, everybody, and I mean everybody that came. I can tell you that, in all honesty, at one of our first board meetings, our goal was to have 100 people. I think we're doing okay. This is a great night for John Cook. This is a great night for the foundation, but really it's a great night for the kids sitting in dialysis right now, who are cold, who are bored, and after this event, especially with this great attendance, we'll have educational devices, iPads, Kindles, and all this kind of stuff to help them pass those long hours sitting in that dialysis chair. John is an extremely tough and very brave young man, and I think one of the biggest challenges he's had in his life, quite frankly, was getting this blue blazer on tonight. The second one will be when he has to speak. I asked him to rehearse 3 or 4 times. I'm not certain if that happened. We will see very soon. There are 15,000 kids in dialysis in this country who have to sit there every day and go through this procedure, which, if you've ever seen it, is unpleasant and boring. So this is a great event to really help those kids. Before we get too far into this, though, I want to really thank the staff at Palmer's who have bent over backwards to help us. What a great facility to get this on. Then I want to thank the committee that helped put this together. That includes Cindy Cook, who's shaking hands somewhere.
She's right over there.
Her sister, Kate Kennedy, who those of you that haven't met Kate, it'll be a long night. Sarah Suzanne. And then the board that John put together to help run this organization and get it off the ground includes Jill Lohman. Jill, where are you? She's over here. Margaret Peterson, who was one of John's teachers at Greenwood. And if you haven't met Margaret, she looks like this. Except without the goggles tonight. She was really hating that I was going to do that. Demetrius Griffin. Where's Demetrius? There he is. Roosevelt wrestling coach, Jay Groff. This team spent many, many Sunday nights sitting around the Cook family table, arguing, watching John run a meeting, and putting this event together. So it was fun to do. I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that if you haven't been up front, we have a lot of silent auction items, and they are wonderful. Dinners from El Patio, Star Bar, Jesse's, Louis Wine Dive, Splash or Jethro's, tickets to the Fleur Theater, near and dear to my heart. Mr. B, the Newton Speedway, Nebraska football tickets. Fairly certain nobody's bid on those yet. Drake Relays. For the golfers, you've got foursomes at Glen Oaks, Wakanda and Hyperion. You've got a pair of Allen Edmonds shoes over on this table here. I think that it's really high bid right now. I wouldn't go there. Artwork down here by Jenny Murphy. So the Murphy family is represented, even though Keith wasn't here. Roosevelt wrestling gear, a Dan Gable print over here behind John. And on one of these tables, there's even spider vein treatment. So we've got a little bit of things for everybody up here. There you go, Dan. Go ahead and put a bid down. You do not have to be present to win, unless you run Jesse's. What are you doing? He's coming to check his bid. Nobody's outbid you. You're still safe. The auction will end promptly at 8:30. I will give you a 5-minute warning at about 25 after, so you can make that last scramble. I'd come over to this table here where they're very concerned about something being bid on. But again, you do not need to be present to win. We're going to do a quick introduction of the board members and let them just very briefly tell you how they got connected with this crazy young man behind me. We're going to start with Jill Oman.
Hi, I met John 18 years ago at the Montessori preschool when he and our son Scott were fast and furious friends together. They were so fast and furious that we ended up getting a call 3-year-old preschool that the boys were wrestling. They needed to be separated. One would have to go in the afternoon, one in the morning. I continued to love John Cook, and I couldn't be more proud of him paying it forward and doing this for everybody else who is going to have the not so great opportunity to go through dialysis. So thank you.
Margaret Peterson.
Yeah, I was mortified when I saw this picture up here. But you can kind of see cute little John here, and I would try to give Sydney, I was his first grade teacher, and I would go down and sit with dialysis with him. And I'm sure these iPads that different things John's thought about will be much more entertaining than his first grade teacher telling him to sit still and just be nice to everybody. We are really proud, all of us, and I know all of you here who know John, are very proud of all that he's put together, and he knows what it feels like, and he wants to help kids. And with the energy that this little boy had, he's now, as she said, paying it forward by putting it toward a good cause. So thank you all for coming.
Demetrius, you're next. These people are all very much looking forward to these words.
Hi everybody, I'm Demetrius. I'm John's big brother, I guess. He's my best friend. Met him about 3 years ago at the clinic I work at. I was his technician, so I did this for him and got to tolerate and put up with him. When he told me he wanted to do this, I told him to go into it 100%. He did, and I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. It's a good cause, for a good reason, for a good kid, and it's good to see him growing up. Shocking to see him with hair, and we're going to get him a little bit bigger. Have some fun. But thanks, everybody.
Roosevelt wrestling coach Jay Groff.
And girls golf coach. Their girls golfers are all working today, volunteers. So let's give them a hand. I met John when he started wrestling in middle school, and he was just a hard-nosed kid that really went after it then, and stuck with it for 6 years all through high school. And I tell my guys a lot of times that you know, we've had some excellent wrestlers, high-caliber kids. National champion Chad Lohman in the back of the room right there, part of the Roosevelt team, John. And you know, and he is always has been just as tough and ornery and hard-nosed as any of them were, and had to go through a whole heck of a lot more just to be here today. So it's an honor to know him and work with him and coach him and be his friend. So thanks for coming, everybody. Appreciate it.
One of the things, John has not had the best of health recently, and one of the illnesses that a lot of people don't know about John, that I learned very early in my experience with John, is that he's a Cubs fan. And so there's been, you know, consistent heartache through most of his life. I was lucky enough to I guess I didn't see him, but I talked to him at a World Series game in Texas a couple of years ago. John, do you remember who was playing in that game? It'd be the Giants. I was trying to think when I first met John today, and because John has just always been in my life, and it's like, where did he come from? And I've pretty much narrowed it down to, I was teaching religious ed at St. Augustine's, and his sister Meredith, his little, you know, third grade sister at that point, who's grown up quite a bit, by the way. She's standing over here. So I think Meredith's little brother decided he was going to play baseball, and somehow he got on my team, and then he couldn't get off my team because he was a great kid to have on the team. He was a tough kid. He was demanding of himself and demanding of the other players. The best story I can tell you about John is Cindy showed up one time, and she said, "We just literally left the hospital. John still has an open tube in his chest, but he refused to go home. He wanted to play baseball today." So John had to stand behind the plate and catch the whole day, and he couldn't run, and it just killed him. But he was there, and God bless him. So. We even pried him out of his house a couple of years ago, and he came out and helped us coach a baseball game once. So John's he's been a presence in my life for a long time, and he's a great kid. And with that happy thought, we're going to see John how he did on his second challenge of the day. John Cook.
Thank you all for coming. I would like to thank Palmer's first for having us here tonight and letting us be here. I would like to thank Tim Earp, who helped me drop the logo. Where's Tim? Thank you to Mr. Craig Shannon, who couldn't be here tonight, for all your hours doing legal work for the nonprofit foundation. I learned it takes a lot of work. Thank you, Guts Gear board members, Jay Groff, Margaret Stevenson, Jill Omen, and Mike Woody, for all your time and effort you spent. Thank you to the launch committee for making this happen tonight. Demetrius, Katie Kennedy, Sarah Suzanin, and my parents. Thank you to all the auction donors and all who have contributed to Guts Gear. We have raised over $14,000. As you all may know, I have spent many hours, days, weeks, months, and years doing dialysis. Sitting in a chair gets very boring. During my senior year of high school, when I began dialysis again, I decided I needed to do something so people would be aware of that there's kids on dialysis. I decided to start Guts Gear. Almost a year and a half later, here we are. I hope to be able to take Guts Gear across the country to help children in all dialysis centers. Thank you all for making my dream come true. The website, gutsgearfoundation.org, will be updated so that you can purchase shirts and golf balls on the website. Enjoy the evening, and again, thank you for coming to support Guts Gear.
Actually, I think you might have practiced. Nice job, John. All right, again, thanks again for coming out tonight. We are out of here at 9 o'clock. Silent auction ends at 8:30, so come on up and check that out. There's information all over the place. There's videos of John when he was young and cute. And we're going to auction these two beautiful centerpieces from Bosun. If you're interested in those centerpieces, how do you want to auction them from here? Margaret says we need to start at $50. So if you don't, we got 50 over here. We got 2 of them, so come on. Anybody else? 60 over here. 60, 60.